at 9.
An adult male traveler was in Hawaii from January 28th through February 7th. When he returned to his home in Japan, it was confirmed.
First at 9, a Hawaii visitor is now among the more than 66,000 confirmed cases of the coronavirus. So far, over 1,500 people sickened with the virus have died around the world. Hawaii health officials emphasized tonight there are still no confirmed cases here in Hawaii, but that man from Japan who tested positive for the deadly disease fell ill while vacationing in the islands. Chelsea Davis has the latest in tonight's top story.
The man traveled from Japan to Maui from January 28th through February 3rd, then to Oahu from the 3rd through the 7th. Officials are mainly looking at who he came in close contact with on Oahu, because that's when he started showing symptoms.
State health officials say while the man was vacationing on Oahu, he stayed at the Grand Waikiki Inn by Hilton Grand Vacations, a timeshare in Waikiki.
They have been notified about the issue, and they're helping us and cooperating with us and trying to identify any possible close contacts while he was here.
Anderson said during his time on Oahu, he developed cold-like symptoms. While he returned home to Japan, he had a fever of 102 and tested positive for coronavirus yesterday. Now, Hawaii health officials are sending out medical advisories to all the health care providers in the state to be for more possible cases. While state officials try to retrace his exact steps, they admit they don't know much.
As we get more information about his specific itinerary or places that he visited, then we will examine that and identify any of those workers that might have been exposed.
The state epidemiologist says the key is finding people he came in prolonged contact with, not just passerbys.
Our focus is who this person might have sat down with, had conversation with. Those are the kind of things that we're looking for.
Chelsea Davis, Hawaii News Now.
Tonight, we've learned the visitor was on Hawaiian Airlines Flight 265 from Kahului to Honolulu on February 3rd. Not much is known about his flights to and from Japan. Our Ben Gutierrez to workers at the Waikiki timeshare that the man stayed at and joins us now with new reaction. Ben.
Workers at the Hilton Hawaiian Village, which includes the timeshare where the Japanese visitors stayed, are concerned, but they say they are using protective gear when cleaning rooms.
It's part of our uniform, our using those masks and everything that will help, gloves and everything, just to protect ourselves and only us, and even not to spread it to the hotel, to the guests.
Hilton Grand Vacations Club has released a statement saying we're working in full cooperation with local Hawaiian public health authorities and will be making sure we provide any necessary updates to our guests, owners, and team members, and are closely monitoring updates from the World Health Organization and the CDC. Coming up tonight at 10, we'll hear from visitors and their concerns about the virus and from experts on the response so far in Hawaii. Ben Gutierrez, Hawaii News Now.
And the outbreak continues to grow globally. Carter Evans shows us how officials in the U.S. and China are working to stop the spread of the deadly virus.
This is what can happen to people who don't wear masks in the epicenter of the outbreak. As security forces patrol the streets of Wuhan during a total lockdown. For medical personnel, protective gear like suits and masks are in short supply, as is adequate care. Hospitals and clinics are overflowing with the sick and dying. In the U.S., the CDC is ramping up its own response to the epidemic by setting up 5 laboratories around the country where people with flu-like symptoms can now go and be tested for the virus if their flu results are negative. This as scientists around the world race to develop a vaccine.
So you're using DNA and genetics to teach the body how to attack the virus.
Exactly, and to recognize the virus and then attack it immediately.
Inovio Pharmaceuticals in San Diego has already successfully developed vaccines for Ebola and Zika. Dr. Kate Broderick says the coronavirus vaccine they're working on now is showing promise.
It's currently being tested in the lab, literally as we speak, and we're manufacturing large-scale quantities of it to get it into human testing by the early summer.
Carter Evans, CBS News, San Diego.
And health officials are urging people to practice these preventative measures to stop the spread. Wash your hands after touching highly used surfaces or other people. Avoid touching your face. Stay home if you're sick. And make sure to cover your face when you sneeze or cough. And we'll have continuing coverage through the night and in the coming days. For the latest updates on the spread and control of the coronavirus, be sure to download the free Hawaii News Now mobile app. HPD is investigating yesterday's shooting in Makiki as an attempted murder case. Crime Stoppers released new photos of the two men seen running from the scene yesterday morning at the corner of Pensacola and Young Streets. No one was hit by gunfire, but a one-year-old baby and an adult were both cut by flying glass. Now, if you recognize either man, call Honolulu Crime Stoppers with your tips. A purse snatcher caught on camera faces up to 10 years in prison, and today prosecutors released footage of the crime. The surveillance video from last May shows Hardy Gabriel stalking a 73-year-old woman on College Walk near Chinatown before ripping away her bag. Gabriel then runs to a getaway car. The footage helped HPD track him down, and yesterday a jury found Gabriel guilty. Sentencing is scheduled for April 20th. On the Big Island, police identified David Perels as the pedestrian who was struck and killed by 3 cars on Highway 130 in Kea'au. Investigators say the 58-year-old from Pahoa was standing in the middle of the roadway yesterday just south of the Kea'au transfer station when he was struck. It's still not known why Perels was there. Call Hawaii County Police if you witnessed the crash. Fire crews and Coast Guard officials conducted a massive air and sea search for the 2 fishermen swept off the rocks near Whittington Beach Park on the Big Island. Rick Daysog reports.
A Big Island Fire Department helicopter lowered divers into the water during the second day of the search for missing fishermen James Oyama and Jay Jara. The 63-year-old Oyama and Jara, who is 37, have been missing since Thursday, apparently swept out to sea by rough waves along the rugged Kau coastline. The two had been fishing at a rocky area at Honoapu Park near Na'alehu and were expected to return late Wednesday night. They were reported missing yesterday by family members who joined the search today.
I have hope and faith that we will find them. They will come back to us.
Jamie Lee Oyama, Oyama's daughter and Jara's fiancé, said ocean conditions were initially calm Wednesday.
But like you can see, the shoreline can be rough and cold. And they knew that too. If it was like this, they wouldn't be here.
Fire department helicopters scoured the coastline. A Coast Guard cutter and helicopters joined the search last night.
We have our MH-65 helicopter searched all day yesterday. We've also deployed our fast response cutter, Joseph Gerzak, which arrived on scene around midnight last night. Our aircraft have night vision goggles, which allow us to search at night.
The search will continue tomorrow. Rick Daysog, Hawaii News Now.
There's new information tonight on the search for a missing woman on the Big Island. Megan Funderburk's father says just prior to the 24-year-old's disappearance last Sunday, she got into an argument with her boyfriend. He says the boyfriend picked Megan up at her Hilo home before driving to the Wainaku Scenic Point. That's where she got out of the car and was last seen. Search teams have since found Megan's phone, a shoe, and a shirt.
What was found there like she possibly was abducted, and if she got away, she would probably go to the woods.
There is a Facebook page for community members to leave tips. For a link, head to our website, or if you have any information, call police. On Oahu, 2 people were hurt in a crash this morning between a car and an ambulance in Kailua. EMS says the ambulance was responding to a medical emergency with lights and sirens both activated when the 2 vehicles collided at the intersection of Keolu Drive and Kalani'anaole Highway. The car's driver was hospitalized in stable condition. His passenger was treated at the scene. The paramedic and EMT involved in the crash were not hurt. EMS says this serves as a reminder to pull over to the side of the road whenever you see or hear an ambulance approaching. A visitor from Maryland died of an apparent drowning at Poka'i Bay. A paddleboarder spotted the unresponsive man yesterday afternoon off of the Pili La'au Army Recreation Center. Lifeguards and firefighters performed CPR until paramedics arrived and rushed him to the ER. He later died at the hospital. And on the heels of that news, the Hawaii Department of Health and Hawaiian Lifeguard Association will be holding a snorkel safety workshop next week. Researchers will present results of a study funded by the Hawaii Tourism Authority on strategies to prevent ocean fatalities. It begins at 8 a.m. next Saturday at the Hawaii Convention Center. On to weather now, and things have heated up on this Valentine's Day with warmer temperatures during the day, but now things are cooling tonight. Happy Valentine's Day, Jen.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Love is in the air and so are the trade winds. What a beautiful evening. Very romantic. Breezy trade winds taking over, dipping down to about 62 to 73 degrees tonight, and northeast winds at 10 to 15. So cool at night, so a romantic evening in store for us. And the winds are going to be with us throughout the entire weekend for President's Day weekend. You see a lot of reds on the map. That means a small craft advisory is up. Blustery conditions will be in the forecast. Not a whole lot on the radar. I'll be tracking what to expect for the rest of the weekend coming up soon.
Thanks, Jen. Still ahead, keeping Kobe's legacy alive, an honor for the late NBA star basketball player. Plus,
every time someone comes from China, they will be in a mandatory quarantine.
A future newscaster, this career day gives students a hands-on approach to finding their future job.
See something you want to share with Hawaii News Now? Post it on social media using the hashtag HNN. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.